Now here's an ending I'm happy to see. Dragon Ball Z Gaiden, Saiyajin Zetsumetsu Keikaku, is the very last Dragon Ball Z game. Well, last on the Famicom. I don't think they'll ever stop releasing a couple of those every year. I'm thrilled since I can finally put this terrible series behind me. The original Dragon Ball on the Famicom is one of the worst action games on the system. A virtually unplayable train wreck. That made anything an improvement, and Bandai switched over to card-based RPGs for the rest of the series. And these games weren't good, but at least they were functional. The game series had a reoccurring problem where it was trying to replicate incomplete stories from its source material. So most of the games ended in some kind of rapid conclusion that didn't match anything. Dragon Ball is of course about Goku, who was rocketed from an exploding planet as a baby, crashed to Earth where as an infant he was found in his spacecraft, and after he grew he used his superhuman strength to fight for truth and justice. Dragon Ball Z Gaiden gets away from its source material and tries to tell an original story using the characters. Some evil person is plotting to destroy the world so that he can get rid of all of the surviving Saiyans, and of course Goku has to punch him until he stops. Once more, Bandai and Tosei have changed how the cards work in the game. They still have a number in the upper left that represents the card's strength, but the symbol now represents a maneuver in combat. So one symbol represents grappling someone, and another symbol represents shooting a beam at them. There are combinations that will trigger special moves for characters as well. The symbol in the lower right represents what the cards do while you're moving around. You start out with a map of the whole world, and you choose destinations to fly to. Some places just have people you talk to. And if you fly back to Goku's house, then the group recovers all of its health. Other destinations that you can fly to take you to a map. And then you move around these maps by playing cards. The number in the upper left-hand corner is how many spaces you're moving, with Z being 8. The symbol in the lower right has an effect when you move, though some of them require that you stop at certain places. The hearts and the dumbbell are ones that require that you stop at a location that uses them. The hearts are for recovery, and the dumbbell will start a training minigame. The foot means that you'll double your movement, and you won't have an enemy encounter for 1 to 5 turns. On the other hand, the exclamation point means you'll have some kind of encounter, unless the movement effect is in play. Usually it'll be a battle, but you could also find an item. The card stack will affect your hand. You could increase or decrease the stars on all of your cards, or one card could have its value changed to the maximum. The fist is used in combat. If it's the first card you select in a round of battle, then damage is doubled. Also on the exploration map, you can hit select to bring up some options. The first one is auto move, and you are going to need that. This lets you pick a destination on the map and then just play cards to move distance. Without it, you have to steer every turn. The next option is the world map, and you'll usually head back here so that you can go heal. Early on, you only have Goku to fight with, and one combat with self-destructing enemies can wipe him out pretty fast. In fact, my hour of play was mainly spent going maybe a dozen steps in the exploration map, then retreating because I was too hurt, and then starting over again. You can also check your status, use an item, get a quick summary of what the cards do, and finally save your game to one of 2 battery save slots. When you encounter enemies and start battle, your primary options are to fight, use an item, or run away. If you choose to fight, you can have the game select cards for you, and by select cards for you, I mean it will always pick the first 3 cards in your hand, or you can choose the cards for yourself. I spent a while trying to find combination cards that would work, and honestly, the combos feel a bit random to me. I only ever managed to find one for Goku. You select 3 cards in every combat round, and then you watch your combo, and then the aliens do a combo to you, which could be 3 or 4 cards, and you go back and forth like this until someone runs out of health. And then you get to move on. There's no experience or cash or anything like that. Your maximum health will increase as you progress through the story, but that's the closest thing to character building that you'll have in the game. Even the 4 training modes don't do a whole lot. You can access these from the main menu as well if you wanted to play them as mini-games. Here you have to tag the guy who's flashing around the arena, just push in the direction and hit A. For this minigame, you're unrolling a scroll and you have to mash the A button to pull on it. If you mash too fast, it will tear. If you mash too slow, then it will pull you back in. And your goal is to unroll the whole thing before time runs out. This minigame is just a quick draw. After it counts down, hit A to fire your beam. Finally, in this minigame, you're trying to stop the power gauge at the top. You have 3 chances to try to do that. There's also a tournament mode available from the main menu, but since there's no character development like in previous games, there are no passwords that you can use to bring your heroes over to your friend's house and have them fight. You can just load up the characters that are in your save file. It makes this multiplayer mode feel kind of pointless. Dragon Ball Z Gaiden might be the least popular of the Dragon Ball games on the Famicom. It doesn't even get the bump from people who are excited to play as their favorite characters. Actually, it seems to have turned off fans, mainly for being a bunch of stuff thrown together, with no rhyme or reason to it. Now, I'm not enough of a Dragon Ball fan to care one way or the other about that, but I will say that this game is dreadfully boring. Getting to the significant locations on the exploration map so that you can advance the story is more luck-based than anything else. And while they might have cranked up the complexity of the card system, it hasn't really added anything to it. If anything, it's made it significantly worse. I never did find spots where you could stop for training and recovery. If you want to play any of these Dragon Ball games on the Famicom, then go with the third one. It's actually kind of complete and kind of coherent. It's also not good, but it's better than this mess.